And welcome everybody to our second episode on our podcast here on PUBG Africa. I am Sean Godfather Mumford. As you can see now, we got a nice little new overlay, and tonight I've been joined by Critzee here. What's up, Critz?
What's up, man?
Yeah, good to have
Happy
you.
to be on the podcast.
Yeah. So
something new.
Yeah, something new. We're gonna obviously, like we said in the podcast, guys, we're gonna, you know, take over towards, all the community members. We're going to invite a whole bunch of different people onto our podcast as well. So it's really good to have Critzee on board with us this evening. Everyone can see his face now. I'm sure some of you already have, because he does stream as well. Critzee does do some streaming over on Twitch as well. So that's always cool to see. And I can see in the background of your picture there, you got a nice, cool little logo above your bed there. Who did that for you, dude?
It's just some friend that I met on Dota, and then she used to watch my streams, and she's like, "Your room looks dead." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And then she just made me this painting, and there you go.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Not much to it. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. I dig that. All right, guys. So we're gonna get into the thick of things right now. What does that wheel in the background help you driving in PUBG? I don't need lessons, Shepherd. I don't need lessons. You, the one who needs lessons, just by the way. But yes, I got a steering wheel in the background as well. I thought Critzee was a girl. That's me.
That's right, man.
That's me.
Oh well.
Okay, but yeah, guys, also send in your questions if you want to ask Critzee anything during the podcast. We'll get to those as we go through as well. So yeah, right now what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick look at the highlights from our week 3 season 1 week 3 battles that we had just on Sunday. It's about I think it's about 8 minutes long video, so enjoy while that happens, and then Critzee and I will discuss what happened in the battles afterwards. So enjoy.
I'm running out of time, every day goes by so fast. And every moment counts, baby, I don't wanna miss a thing. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, or hang out in hotel bars, driving somewhere in your car. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, under the stars. And we don't need to do the things we don't wanna do. Baby, while we're young,
right, we're back. We're back. I hope you guys enjoyed that highlights video there that we've shown over there. Obviously, some good action that we saw on week number 3 in the battles this week. Going up to Critzee quickly, we're going to answer a couple questions here that I see coming through. Obviously, I see there this week BIA will make Godfather and Critzee proud and make it into Sunday battle. I believe, Slayer, you guys are improving quite a bit there. I see another question here. What's Critzee's hair routine?
Nothing at all, man. I just go with the flow.
Go with the flow. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, coming back to obviously the scrims, Critz, we've got, and also, yeah, sorry, I must say, Slayer, thank you so much for the subscription as well to the channel as well. Thank you so much, dude. Coming back to the battles this last week Sunday. For your team, not the best performance by any standard of your standards. This would be fair, but what happened there, dude?
It was awful, man. It was just one of those nights. You don't get the zones. Your rotations are off point. Communication is bad. Just it just happens. But it's nothing we can't bounce back from. So we don't care too much about it.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, I can say the same thing for the team that I manage, White Rabbit Gaming. I mean, they had a pretty dreadful performance last week Sunday, and I mean, obviously you saw that as well, and you were like, also came to me and like, what happened there? And I'm like, yeah, we spoke a little bit about it as well. But this last week we seen them come back obviously quite strong. And your thoughts about them, obviously, because I mean, you're not in the same position. You weren't as terrible as obviously what they had encountered on their Sunday scrim the previous week, but you're looking to pull off something similar to what White Rabbit's doing?
I mean, I wouldn't say I don't know if any like them or us were in a slump or anything like that. It's just like I think they just also had a bad night. And I mean, being a consistent team, having maybe Diggs with them, bringing that European experience into their roster, it helps a lot. And I mean, it's nothing we can't bounce back from. And I think everybody in the scene also expected WRG to be back on top in no time. So it's just one of those nights for them. Same with us. And I think it's easy for both teams to be a consistent top 5 team in Africa.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is. Sean is so nice and stream wouldn't have heard him online. Yeah, I was quite mean to the team. It was quite funny. I see unknowns asking me that question. But yeah, coming back to your team, especially obviously without Soda now, what's happening with Soda? Obviously he's not. I know he has some issues, obviously with his PC or something like that.
Yeah, so like he had a 1080 Ti and it just decided to die on him. So he doesn't want to waste money buying like a 20, like something else. So he wants a brand new 3080 and there's no stock. So we're kind of just holding out until he's back. And then like practice wise, like we don't have much time. What's good is can't show up often, and me working until 7, we can't play EU scrims, we can't play GLL. So we kind of use a rank as a practice, which isn't good because you have like bad tendencies you learn. But I mean, we deal with what we have.
Yeah, we'll come into a little bit of things there. Maybe you can help up a couple of the teams there a little bit later. How you guys prepare for like certain scrims and what you think is best and whatever. But coming to a couple of surprises for myself, obviously for the on the main battle, Born to Lead finishing up 3rd. I mean, they had a pretty decent night. I mean, they haven't been in our battles or a part of the thing for quite a while now. Coming back into it, I mean, another team to watch, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think they had like consistent roster changes over the last few months, but yeah, it's good to see them performing, and obviously it makes it more competitive, more teams to compete for the top 5. So if you slack, you're done for the night, So
yeah, for sure. I mean, I mean, looking at like you say, more consistent in there. But what's also nice, for our local, let's say, more going towards where we stay, South Africa. I think it kind of helps us as well as we obviously got in South Africa. In PUBG Africa, there's a lot of South African teams. So having these North African teams coming in and kind of pushing us as well, which is, I think, quite a good thing in the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it gives more like variety, I guess, because I think in SA we used to see the same results consistently when like EN and those teams used to be around, and now there's more teams, more players, bigger variety. So like when Majesty plays, MLC plays, we play, Inex plays, like WRG, it's like any team can win. So you have to bring a game all the time. So
Yeah,
it's nice. I like it.
Yeah, like you said, it's that consistency that you have to kind of like build into your
Yeah,
team
for
as
sure.
well. I mean, we'll talk about NX there because I mean they got 102 points. In second place was White Rabbit Gaming with 47 points. I mean, that is a massive gap there. I mean, your plans to maybe, how are you going to stop NX? Let's put it that way, because I think Viking even came in afterwards and he's like, he has no idea. Like they were just on point on that night. So, but they generally are on point as well. What are your plans to maybe try and stumble them?
I don't think it's anything we will do specifically to stop them. But I mean, where they drop and we drop, we never fight early, so it's not like we can gatekeep them on the rotations or anything. But I think as long as we do our own thing, like I think on average we get a lot of points, 50 plus a night. I mean, if like let's say we get more points, it means they will get less points, because we choke half the kills.
Yeah, for
WRG
sure.
maybe, like if all other teams have a better night than everyone had on Sunday, by default they will have a worse night. So I wouldn't say it's something we will do to stop them. We just focus on ourselves and fix our mistakes from Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I get you. I mean, yeah, like you said, you have the capability. Your team has the capability. I mean, I think I mentioned a couple of times, even on casts, even towards the end of last year, when you guys did have Sodi, I think you guys were the best team in the scene at that stage. Close second was NX. So you guys are definitely like, consistently coming in the top 5 every single match. You guys were always there. So, I mean, obviously things have changed since this year. I mean, you don't have Soda, which when he comes back, I'm sure a lot of your consistency will come back from that as well.
I hope so.
Yeah, well, I believe it will. I mean, I definitely believe it will. And then looking at like kind of the teams that I expect to do a little bit better in these scenes is obviously the Hellhounds. I mean, not having all their way. I mean, they came into, I think it was not last week, 2 weeks ago in week number 2. I mean, they thrashed the pre-battles, and then thereafter, I think it just hasn't gotten their way. I mean, they got some decent players. I mean, they got Little Death, Ellis Tomato, Official Tempe, who was Freezy, that's his old name, and then they got Kenny RSA. I mean, Official Tempe, I mean, your thoughts on him? I mean, I think he's a fantastic player. I mean, he's also very, very young as well.
Yeah, it's good. Like, I mean, that team also has a lot of potential. I think their ceiling is pretty high. I think if they put in the time and effort, I mean, they can definitely also compete for the top spots. And I'm not saying they can't yet, but I mean, they have their little issues. Obviously, they don't always play with the same roster. If they play in the Orm scrims, they play with like Ellis doesn't play, so it's always playing a different roster. So it's probably a big issue of consistency, but they can definitely do much better than they're doing now. So
yeah, I mean, it was kind of also like with White Rabbit Gaming as well. You mentioning that with Edis Tomato, obviously he casts for the other scrims that come over there as well. But I mean, it's the same concept as well. I pulled myself out as an active player because I was playing in different scrims, and then on Sundays the guys are playing their normal roster. They keep on chopping, we keep on chopping, changing. Consistency was never there, and as soon as we made that change, you could see the difference, consistency rise up for the team. So it's a difficult decision to make as a player if you're also casting on the side. So it is, it's not something you really want to do at that stage. It's like, I still want to play, but what do you want to do, in the end of the day? I think that's where it comes down to. But yeah, I mean, overall thoughts, I mean, the way you think, I'm just going to put this one out there, obviously, for PUBG Africa and stuff like that. What are your thoughts on the way things are going, and do you think it's is progressing and the teams are getting better throughout the weeks?
most definitely. I mean, taking example from BRA, maybe chatting earlier in chat. So with all the constant practice they're getting with the scrims and or battles now, teams are improving. A lot of teams are improving, and I think after Sunday we told ourselves like, if we're going to keep slacking, other teams are going to keep improving. So like,
Yeah.
you don't want to fall behind, and like the production and everything from PUBG Africa is good. It's a good platform for the scene and the community. I mean, it's something we never had. Like, I don't know North African scene. I don't know if they had something like this before, but for us down here, it's good, and yeah, I love it.
That's awesome. I mean, yeah, you mentioning there, I was just thinking now, like when I first got in contact with also the Brothers in Arms guys, I mean, they were like getting 9, 10 points, now they're getting up to the 20 points and they're starting to get themselves in. So there is progression there, which is great to see. And obviously, like you helped them out with coaching last week as well. In the coaching session, how did that go? I mean, give it a little bit of outside, because obviously we're still doing that every single time for the pre-battles as well. How did the coaching session go with you guys and Brothers in Arms?
Like, it's unfortunate they missed out of, I think, with 1 point or something like that. It's sad, but I mean, like, I feel like every time when I'm done coaching a team, I believe myself, I leave them with something valuable that they learn. So I mean, I think that's the biggest thing for me, to make them feel like they learn something. Like, you don't want to break them down by saying, "Oh, you're doing this and this wrong," and rather this and this you can do, improve,
for
or
sure.
something like that. So I mean, as long as the teams like they want to learn, I'm more than willing to help anyone. So yeah,
Awesome.
I like it.
Awesome. I mean, yeah, like I'll say to this to everyone else there, if you are in the pre-battles, guys, and you want to sign up for the coaching sessions on Wednesdays, just obviously head over towards our Discord, type your team there, and then Viking will then assign you guys a slot whenever the time goes. And I see here, obviously, a happy birthday to Deathmug. Happy birthday, dude. Hope you're having a great day.
Happy birthday, old man.
Yeah, old man. Happy birthday. Hope you got spoiled today. Slayer is definitely becoming a favorite in the community, favorite in SA. Yeah, definitely. I mean, bunch of awesome guys. I mean, we also got Gasman, who's really, really young as well. And for these youngsters to come into our scene as well, it's great. I think it's awesome. I mean, us oldies now are gonna, we can still do something at least. But yeah, definitely, it's awesome to see. And then, okay, cool. Moving on to, you and your team. What's happening for? Well, your team is now business associates. I mean, it's no secret that you guys are looking for orgs and stuff. So, what are your plans going forward here, Mark?
I mean, like we had a lot of ambitions to start off the year. Like, start off with a new org, get involved in like proper scrims, a lot of extra work we never put in before. But now, unfortunately, with Soda's with graphics card not working anymore and all of that, it's a little bit of a setback. But I mean, as soon as we have all of our stuff going again, I believe we'll see a big improvement in our team moving forward. Like, because like ultimately we all had a goal to, like, it sounds ambitious, but to be like a tier 2 European team from Africa, but like competing in like PSL, like make it far, get to the closed qualifiers and all of that. And I think it's definitely doable. Like, we have the talent in our roster. I believe in myself as an IGL. So no, it's just waiting for Soda to be back, and then yeah.
I mean, yeah, 100%. I think you're very right in there. I think we have a couple teams who can definitely, if they do make that push and do make that decision to actually go further, they can do it. I mean, yourselves, obviously, NX can definitely make that push to do it as well. But I mean, I do believe that, just got to get Soda back, and then you guys will be hitting the ground running yet again. I mean, the things we got planned for PUBG Africa, these obviously, things are in the works, and then hopefully we'll get somewhere, with a lot more prize money coming through and all that sort of stuff. And that's what we want to do, to try and promote PUBG Africa as well. And then hopefully these orgs like you're talking about. I mean, any other org that wants to, chat to Critzee and whatever the case. I know Critzee's been chatting to a couple of them as well, but hit him up, on your socials and whatever the case is, let's get more of these SA orgs involved. We've still got the likes of Bravada, EN, ATK, a lot of these big orgs who can definitely benefit from getting into PUBG as a scene as well. Because we've seen it. White Rabbit Gaming has been in it since the beginning. We've been in since 2017. Yeah, it's been a long time since. We're the longest standing org at this stage, and we still got NX has got a couple teams. We used to have Energy. Who else did we have as well? Obviously, Sinister 5 that you guys have now obviously left from them, but Vinco was there as well. So a couple, and Vinco even went on to the. Which one was it?
PGI.S.
It was not.
I don't know.
It was a PEL, I think it was the PUBG European League. They went to those
the PELC or something.
So something like that. They went to the closed qualifiers as well. That was pretty good as well. We also had Lupas, Vitvakanta, all these sort of things. A question coming out here from Ifizzy. What do you think about MLC Devils in this season? You can answer that one, Mark.
I'm not too sure. I've only played. Did I play in all 3 Sundays so far?
Yeah,
I don't know, but they did pretty good this past Sunday. I think they were top 5. But honestly, I haven't looked that much at the newer teams. But for a new team in our scene, coming top 5, it's good. It's really good. So yeah, it's nice to see new teams doing good, taking some of the top known teams in the scene at the moment down. So it's nice.
I think they did, if I'm not mistaken, I think they came above their main team as well. So I think that's what they, PL.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. But they did beat their main team this last weekend as well, and they are in the top 9 of our ELO as well. So I think they're performing quite well. There's still that little bit of that gap that they need to obviously breach to get towards NX, but I think everybody has that gap to breach towards NX.
Everybody has that gap.
At this stage. They are just literally running through people at the moment, which kind of also, I'll bring it to this point because it's kind of frustrated me on Sunday as well. And I want to, teams for NX, they got their third era angle game was kind of like gifted to them, let's be honest. Fizzy, I blame you for that one, for taking out the Wasp and giving it to NX in the end of the day. But taking a look at NX, I'm noticing quite a few teams, they get a knock onto NX, right? They knock Hot Diggity, Narco, whoever there is, and then I do tend to see them pull back quite a bit far away because they now know who they're dealing with. Your thoughts on that? What do you think these teams should do? They should try and my belief is they should at least try and engage into the fight, not just running blindly. I'm not saying that, but engage in the fight. But your thoughts on that?
I think it'll be a bit different for many teams. Like I'm gonna take my team as an example. Like if we fight Inex, we're a team that focus a lot on kill feed during the game because we don't fight a lot early. So we pick up on what's happening during the game. So let's say we see Viking is dead. Now eventually we run into Inex, we knock Hot Diggity. We know it's like a 2v4, something like that. So
100%.
I think a lot of teams, I don't think in the moments they even know what they're dealing with. They just know it's Inex and then, oh damn, it's the best team in the lobby, let's move back. And I think it's a bad approach. I feel like it's a lack of confidence as a team, and you shouldn't have it in this game. But anything can happen. You already have the advantage, Or let's say Inex knocks your guy. You don't run away from that. It's I feel like it's I don't know. We never back down from any fight. If we're in trouble, we just try to win it, man. You're already down 1, you might as well just go all 4 out or get some points from the current disaster you are in. But backing down in PUBG, I don't know, lack of confidence.
Yeah, 100%.
That's my opinion.
No, I totally agree with you. And that was one of the things I even mentioned to a couple of teams that I speak to now and again. And I say, most of these teams can aim and they can do whatever they can wipe the floor with any team. That's 100%. And I do believe that all these teams that play in these scrims can do it. It's just gaining that confidence to actually just do it. So I tell them do it, get used to it. And yes, you might get smashed 3-4 times or whatever, but then the next time you're gonna lose, but you're gonna kill 2 of them, and then the next time you're going to kill 3 of them, and then eventually you're going to start getting to a place where it's such a tight fight and either team could win, you know. And that's why I want these teams to try and like take on these fights intelligent. I'm not saying run them blind and just go, you know, balls to the wall type of thing, you know, but I mean saying take these fights and learn from these fights and then take it next time. Okay, cool, now we know what we did wrong there, we can fix this, you know. And I do believe that's, you know, that's the problem there. I mean, I'm busy reading chat now. I see I clearly cannot aim. The clip is evidence. I mean, get wrecked. Sometimes these things happen, but you learn from that, you know. So push them and get unlucky. Maybe I'm just trying to get a little bit of chat over here as well. But I saw someone saying, obviously, this is something we spoke about earlier as well. This is pretty hard to push when Hot Diggity throws like 4 flashes at you. Your thoughts on utility?
Utility. I think it's a big thing. I'm going to be honest with you. Maybe 80% of our lobbies don't do good. Like grenades are off point. People don't use smokes to move, to push or anything. So I think people really undervalue it. And I think there's a time like we as a team also focused a lot on our utility usage, and we did good. But I mean, I don't know. I think each to their own, but I think if you can use nades and smokes to a really good extent and maximize your potential in fights with a flashbang, then obviously it will boost everything in your team. So
100% agree with you. I think I even mentioned it's distinctly mentioned. I think you guys are still, I mean, out of the whole lobby, I think you guys are still one of the best teams for util usage, especially the lethal ones. I've seen great things come out of your team as well from that one as well. I'm just busy looking at it. It's like Unknowns is saying, as soon as the teams realize that NX is just another team and not be afraid to push on to things will get interesting. 100% agree with that. But is just another team. I mean, in the end of the day, I mean, they can all die.
There's obviously there's a difference between just not being afraid and running in and taking the fight smartly, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
You don't want to encourage team to just, you knocked one, just run at them. But
no, I'm not saying that. Like I said, don't just run in blindly to it. You know, there's no point in doing that. Learn from, okay, cool. If we knocked him, where are the others? Okay, cool. Let's start trying to engage, not just, we knocked him.
Yeah, well, Hot Diggity is always somewhere on the side. So
exactly. We all
he always gets us. Like we know it. Like we're busy fighting. Where's Hot Diggity? All of a sudden, 2 knocked. You lost the fight.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Yeah, he's
just silent and then jumps all dead.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's unlucky.
I mean, if people start to realize it, it'll start. You know, things will start getting a little bit more interesting. I do agree with Unknowns there as well. Just busy looking on to see a little bit more if there's any questions in chat. If you want to ask Critzee anything, guys, just put it in chat here. Try and tag us both if it's possible. Then I can also read it a little bit easier while the chat is busy getting itself all done and dusted here. And just trying to see if we've caught up onto everything. We seem like we have. We've clearly seen teams knock one. Every 2 NX players turn around and run away. Yeah, no, that's exactly what's been. But like we said, this is the discussion that we have. You know, trying to help these further teams as well. And then my last question before we move on to other things that are, you know, in the scene and whatever the case is that will be changing. We touched on this a little bit earlier, but your way to prepare for these main battles or, you know, / scrims or whatever the case is, what do you guys generally do, obviously, if you have the time to get this done?
I'm gonna be honest, I got lost with what you just said. I was reading the chat.
No, it's all good.
Oh no. Oopsie.
Okay, well, we'll actually answer a question before I ask you this question as well. Critzee, what should the ratio of ammo versus util be? That's a good question. I mean, I do generally. I'm just going to take a little bit while you think about that one. I do see more people have so many bullets, right? Like they got 300 bullets stored away, which 90% of the time they're not even using 300 bullets. So I do feel that a lot of the players inside this scene is overusing or over capacity with their bullets. That's my little 2 cents with it, but you can answer that one.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard, man. Like nades are heavy as shit. So
Yeah.
normally just keep one nade in your slot because it doesn't take any space, and then normally we try to have like 3-4 smokes minimum each, and then like a molly, because you never know. Like a molly is good. Like if you push a building, having a molly available, it just like you eliminate like an entire section of a building when you push. So like everyone should have a molly. Should at least have 2 free smokes on each player. Have a nade to like push someone out behind a tree cover. Like, but ideally, I think having 3-4 smokes, 2 nades, 1 molly, and then whatever else you feel like. And ammo wise, whatever you can fit in your backpack, man.
After all of the
Like,
util.
yeah, because normally what I do, I drop my ammo on the floor, pick up a smoke, then I just pick up whatever I can.
Yeah.
I'm
I
dead, I
get
made
you.
it stuck on the floor, but
Actually, yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying there. Like, you know, drop your ammo, pick up whatever you need to a util usage. I see some people saying, like Deathmark saying, 200 max, 10 ammo max with 4 smokes, 1 nade, 2 mollies. I got Shepherd here with 12 smokes, but yeah, Shepherd, you just love to smoke. But anyway, 8 mates for me because BA and NX thinks that I'm a running practice bot. That's from Kinghorn.
like I think it's different to each team because like a lot of people play different. Like we like to play open. Like we like to be outside. Like we don't like to be stuck in a compound because you limit your entire game by being pinned down inside. So we normally have more smokes because like we get knocked a shitload. Like we have the most that is probably 90% of the time because we always knocked for dumb stuff. So like we normally have more smokes, less nades because like we don't try to take close fights. We normally try to keep our distance, so we don't need nades that often. But when we do it, Soda eats them all 100% of the time.
Yeah, true. I mean,
so we only need one.
Taking away from that one, it just obviously my experience coming from the PCL and casting obviously the winter challenge that I did last weekend and on Monday as well. You saying staying back and taking a long range fight, saw that so much in the mid game in PCL. Like it literally, you don't see many teams next to each other. It is such a small space, but they still like 200 meters. You know, there's space for 200 meters around them. You know, no one's literally not trying to crash onto anyone until the further phases. So, I mean, that is something that these teams do, where we see a lot more close engagements coming in our scene here. So I think there's quite a big gap between how this scene plays and versus how the EU scene plays. I think a lot of us in this scene, what I cast over, they do like to take a lot of closer range fights. They do crashing the buildings, getting themselves into that, and taking those close range fights. And it's interesting to see just the different dynamic. I'm just pointing that out. It's interesting that you said that as well. Coming back to some of the questions, I saw some question there, I'm sure. What about North Africa? I saw Zipman saying, and flashes are also very important. Yeah, 100%. Flashes are very important. Obviously, we need to, like you said as well, Critzee, I mean, these teams need to learn how to use this util as well. So, I mean, the only way you get used to it is by practicing it and using it and using it and using it and seeing what works and where it doesn't work. We saw actually quite a good one from MLC there it was in the highlights video with against
the
flashbang with Rusty Revolvers. I mean, that thing bounced just behind the rock and flashed Terry and then managed to, you know, get a good kill out of that one as well.
That's good.
Just looking around, contact is a disc. Okay, cool. MLC, FC, and SR are Moroccan tricks. Yeah, we know that. Okay, where did Critzee get that fade done? Looks lacquer.
Just by a friend that cuts hair for a living. So yeah.
He got his hair cut for this, guys. That's pretty cool. So, you know, getting himself all.
I wouldn't say just for this,
for sure, but
yeah.
I'm gonna say it's just for. So,
yeah, I did it for you guys.
Another question here from Mish RSA says, fresh 1 vest or damage 2 vest? I mean, it all depends, right? But you can answer it.
I guess I don't know. It's hard, man, because a broken tier 2 vest still gives you some damage reduction, but I'd probably say take a fresh level 1, but if we talk about level 3, maybe keep the half broken level 3, because that half broken level 3, when it breaks, the damage reduction is still going to be more than like a fresh tier 1. There's something people should keep in mind, and that's a fact, by the way.
Yeah, it is true. That is true. What do you think What do you think of using bolties in comps? That's
I love it. Like I think every team should have, like, I wouldn't say a dedicated multiplayer, but I mean, yeah, I think it's one of few guns that really opens up opportunities for you when, like, when you're back against the wall and you're like, shit, man, like we need that compound, and if you're gonna have the dumb player like me that just overpeaks everything, you're gonna get knocked. It's gonna open up the opportunity for you, and you can just push and move forward. So, because a lot of people, they dodge a headshot from a mini after that. So yeah,
and mini also
it's an
doesn't do so
opportunity
much damage.
creator in my eyes. It's
Yeah.
really good.
No, I agree with you. I mean, we see obviously the international scene. I mean, it's DMR or nothing. It's pretty much that's how they play. But we also got to factor in, obviously, they got less ping, and things do hit where you shoot it, and all these sort of things. So I think SRs are becoming a thing. Becoming a thing. And then
It's used a lot in African scene, but like you say, PCL and stuff, you don't see it that often.
I think I saw one of the stats from PCS, the last one. I think the maximum damage done by it was an M24, and the most damage done overall the whole competition was 150. That was it. That was the highest. The rest are just DMRs and SRs and whatever the case is. Looking at another one, Critzee, do you personally run two same ammo guns, or do you run a 5.5 and a 7mm gun? What's your perfect loadout? Pretty much is what I would try and
SLR barrel, man. It's the most two cracked guns in the game. But I mean, it's hard. Like you should also remember, if you run 7s, like barrel SRR, like by default you're gonna have less utility because that it's heavy.
100%, yeah.
So, but running mini M4 is probably the most ideal loadout if you a very aggressive team, because you have more utility usage, you have space for more mids and stuff like that. So yeah, I think running the same setup is the best. Like having 5s and 7s, it makes it complicated when you're trying to inventory management yourself. So
I mean, these are all the things that you got to think of as well. And we were chatting. I'm just coming back to obviously the way you approach teams. It just had my thought now. We had this discussion off air while we were busy, like you were saying. A lot of these teams don't necessarily watch the kill feed that often. Your suggestions on how to manage that? This waiting for his camera. There we go.
I don't know, like, there we go. We normally, like, for us, we focus on like the top 5 teams, like the consistent top 5, not who's doing the best at the night, but like we normally keep our tabs on like WRG, Inex, the 2 new MRC teams, because they've been doing good. So
it gets you less
nice
management as well,
Yeah, like cause I like, and before the games, you say, like, because normally I focus on Inex, like, you watch that kill feed, doesn't matter what, like, even when you fight, you try to pay attention. Like, it's hard to multi-manage all those things, but it all of it adds up to you becoming a better player and a better team in the end of the day. So if you can micromanage all of these small things while you play, like, each player should have like 2 teams they maybe watch, teams you're afraid of. So just to be aware of what's happening while you play. So
yeah, I mean, like you said early on, like you said, watching that kill feed, if you know that two of the NX members are down, it's now 4-2. Your likelihood of beating them out is a lot easier. So I think for that's a good tip for the teams. There is like, take a handful of teams and watch that. That's it. In the end of the day. Then I got a question here from Slayer as well. Does it really help to be able to spray with the 3 times or anything bigger than a red dot?
Most definitely. It's hard to explain, but like you have much more vision of where your crosshair is. You know where your bullets are gonna go. Like, if you try to spray someone 150 to 100 meters with a red dot, you use your little red dot with the blood and all of that, so your shots aren't always on point. And with 3x, everything is just nice and visible, so it helps.
Even at close
And the
range, it
thing I,
still helps as well.
yeah, the thing I really like about 3x, maybe like when you fight outside and like you're on a lower elevation than someone you're fighting, if that thing is like set on, because that's how I play. My 3x is always black, the crosshair inside, so
Okay.
it just helps with visibility when you shoot, because you can see the entire the whatever you call it, the crosshair in the 3x,
Yeah, for
where
sure.
you lose like your little blue red dot or.
Yeah, because obviously the blood
Oh.
that's splattering up and whatever the case is. Yeah, no, 100%. Oh yeah, I totally agree. I think 3x's are for ARs. I mean, you're seeing a lot more players here adapting what the international scene do. People are spraying each other at 100+ meters now, where the DMR's range is now starting to get longer and longer and longer, because literally some oaks are just turning and burning on you with the 3x from such a long range.
Yeah,
So,
like a lot of like the pro like EU pro players like use 2x over 3x though, because you can get one more util in your backpack. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting actually. Okay, yeah, with the space issues you're having, it's kind of support on the Balti is like a less ammo needed and more space for util. True. I mean, that's a benefit then for your team as well, because then you can pick up more smokes and you can do whatever, because you're not firing 20 bullets at a time, you're only doing one at a time as well. And a lot of people asking when NubG is coming back. Henny, you can answer that one. But cool. And yeah, I think done with that section for now. If you want any more questions, answers as well, we're going to be moving on to our next section, which is our rule sets for 2021. Things are changing. Things are happening in the 2021. So let's go over it, and I'm going to show you guys quickly, one of the things here for what's happening in what we're going to be changing in our battles going forward. Obviously, adapting the new 2021 rule set that we've got, that's been launched at the beginning of this year. Personally like the red dark display or oranges. Okay, so some people are answering that. So let's switch over to that scene quickly. We're going to go over to there. I'm just going to minimize this one as well. You're going to see us for a couple seconds here while I just quickly find out which of these things it is. So here we go. So we were having a discussion early on here, Critzee, with regards to the new rule sets. And our biggest change here is obviously for the phase settings. The weight, yeah. So currently that weight before it begins to shrink is sitting at 180 seconds. Now it's been increased to 240. That is the biggest change coming out of this one for the scrims. I'm just trying to see exactly where my things are going. So that's a big change. 60 seconds. I mean, for your team, is that going to help you guys going forward? It's a lot more time. 60 seconds.
It's gonna help a lot. Like, we normally lead until we're happy with what we have. Like, we don't like to leave when, let's say, like someone doesn't have a 6, like at least a 4x scope. Like you want your distance, because like I said before, we like to keep our distance, fight from far. So we don't leave unless we're ready. And like, we're not scared to tank blue, because I think I always find a way in. Like, we always make it to the end somehow, even when our back is against the wall from phase 1. There's always a way into the zone. You just have to think ahead, look at the playing path. So for us, it helps a lot, obviously, because we will have time to not tank the blue maybe now. So
yeah,
do wider rotations like we normally do.
100%. And then also the other change here is also for the move between phase 3 and 4. 4 was sitting at 150 seconds before it starts, before it starts to move. Now it was 150. Now it's down to 120 seconds. So it's making the mid game a lot quicker here, which I think is a good thing. I mean, it caught me out in PSL last night as well. Like, the zone automatically changed, and I wasn't ready for it, because I kind of got timing as I go through the game as well. So I mean, mid game's going to speed up now as well. So that's going to catch a couple teams out as well, I reckon.
Yeah, like I think it really pushes the mid game to be more aggressive and stuff. It's good for viewership, but I think for teams that used to be slow, like they have a lot to work on now because you don't have that much time to scout and look ahead and move, and there's a lot of factors now obviously come into play. But personally, for me, I don't think it's that bad. I actually like it because a lot of games it just stagnates. Like you just sit here like, what now?
Yeah,
You
for
have
sure.
a good zone, it's nothing to do. Now it's gonna have maybe more teams in like a panic or like a struggle to then they just send it to dumb places, and I think that's what a lot of SA teams also do. They're not too or familiar with like little ditches and dips. So we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see more mistakes mid game now from some teams, but it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's 30 seconds. I mean, now you're going to have to, like, it is, 30 seconds is quite a long time inside, some of these games at times, but
Yeah,
like you
sure.
said, it will now make a little bit more teams do those rash decisions that'll happen here. I think they're trying to speed up the question here from Henzero is saying, I think they're trying to speed up the mid game, even in PGI.S, and things are very slow. It doesn't make sense for. And it doesn't make sense? Or are you saying it does make sense for good viewing? Well, it does in a way, because if you think about it coming out from there, I do agree with Critzee what he's saying. It does make, because now teams are going to make quicker decisions, and that might not be the right decision at the right time. So therefore,
Sure.
These teams are going to seriously oh crap, we have to move now. What do we do? And then they're going to try and do drive-bys or try and crash this random team because they haven't had the time to scout it. And that gives better viewing for the viewers in the end of the day, where, right now, and not for the teams. I mean, teams now have to stress about this, but for the viewers, it's definitely something to, it's something strange might happen in those phases as well. And like Henny says, 30 seconds is a lifetime. Just ask the shepherd. Wow. Okay. Also, I know that the shrink is also slower. Yeah, it is 0.05. So, I mean, that is quite a small little change there for the shrink. But I think the wait time, I think, was increased here. Phase 7 was 50 seconds. Now it's 60 seconds. So the wait time in phase 7 is 10 seconds longer in the end. And yeah, I think these overall changes is going to change things. It's going to be, I think, in the first phase, it's going to be a lot more not viewer friendly in the first phase, because it's just going to be really waiting for something to happen. But it allows these teams to get a little bit more kitted up, like you said, and then progress forward in towards the area here. I'm going to switch back to our faces quite quickly here. Let's just get this all sorted out as we got back onto screen here. But I think these changes which we're going to be implementing in PUBG Africa's battles now, starting this week. So these are the new changes. There is no changes towards the spawns. So all the spawn rates and everything are exactly the same as what they were. It's just those few settings that have been changed. So, nothing. Loot's not going to get any better. Loot's still pretty good though. I mean, do you guys struggle with loot on games? I mean, it is RNG in the end of the day, but generally, do you guys struggle with loot?
I wouldn't say we struggle. We like to leave when we have the perfect loadouts.
Yeah,
it sets us back a lot. Like we're very stubborn to it. Like we want this before we leave. So I mean, we can improve by not doing that, be faster and have better games. But I don't know. Like we just take our time until we're happy. So
no, that's good. I mean, there you go. Okay, so that's the rule sets, and now to a very confusing matter, which both myself and Critzee are a little bit confused. I mean, we're going to talk a little bit about PGI.S and their tournament.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, oh Lord is correct. a little bit confusing. I'm going to play for you guys a video of what their tournament set rules, and we're going to try, and maybe you guys in chat can help us out as well on how they're trying to structure this thing, because I'm still a little bit confused on how they're trying to do this one, but let me quickly switch over towards that one now as I go over towards the desktop display here. We'll quickly play out this video. We will keep quiet in the background while we play out this video, but yeah, here's the new rule sets for PUBG PGI.S format that they've just come out with.
The PUBG Global Invitational S, our biggest tournament yet, begins in February. With a tournament this big, there's a lot to take in. So let's take a look at the format and rules of PGI.S 2021. PGI.S's main event, the weekly series, will be held for a total of 6 weeks starting from February 8th. It is divided into the weekly survival taking place on weekdays and the weekly final held over the weekend. Unlike the previous global tournaments, points are not accumulated week over week, giving every team the same fighting chance each week. Weekly survival features 16 matches held across 3 weekdays. The goal for teams is simple: win a single chicken dinner. Once you win, you stop playing and move on to the weekly final. The next team on the waitlist takes your place and a new match begins. This list is determined by ranked decision matches to decide the order our 32 teams participate. These 24 deciding matches take place over 3 days starting from February 5th and will divide our teams into 4 different groups. The top 16 teams from these groups face off in the weekly survival matches first. The weekly final is more like the PUBG Esports you're used to. 10 matches are held across 2 days, and points the teams earn are added up to decide their final ranking for the week. The 16 teams that played in the weekly final get the first shot at next week's weekly survival, and the remaining 16 teams decide their placement on the waitlist during a bottom 16 match held every Saturday, before the weekly final. From there, the cycle continues throughout the tournament. One of the big differences with PGI.S is that instead of receiving prize money based on your final rank is determined by how much prize money you've won. We're awarding prize money every week, and the team who has collected the most at the end will be crowned our PGI.S champion. Here's how it breaks down. The first 8 teams to win a weekly survival match each week take home an automatic cash prize, earning more the sooner they win. From there, the winners of the weekly finals tournament get an even bigger cash prize. The first place prize being $25,000 on week 1, and growing to an astounding $500,000 by week 6, giving teams lots of opportunity to catch up and claim the title. Winning isn't the only way teams are earning cash though. 30% of the total profit made from PGI.S item sales goes back to participating teams. This money will be distributed based on the percentage of money each team won in the tournament, with bigger rewards for the higher performing teams. So, not only do you get cool skins and voting coupons to earn even more cool skins, but you're also helping your favorite teams bring home more well-deserved prize money. Win-win! That about wraps up our overview of the PUBG Global Invitational S. Initial ranking decisions happen on February 5th, and the first official matches kick off on February 8th. So be sure to tune in, pick your winners, and cheer on your favorite teams across 8 weeks of intense PUBG action.
Yeah, so a little confusing. Let's be honest.
I'm lost.
I think a lot of teams are lost in what is happening there in the chat. I see Static Foot Touch is saying I think the old system's better. A lot of people are saying that in Twitter as well. And then whatever. Yeah, quick mass. Yeah, this is a lot of mass. This is weird. Yeah, error not compute, cannot compute. Yeah, I'm glad we're not the only ones. Yeah. Because, wow. I mean, here I got the page up here as well. We got the PGI tournament structure. So they're going to do the ranking decision. And then even like, this is what weirds me out here. From to the 8th to the 13th is what I read this one at. Is what the pick'em challenge is, and then they start again. It's a little bit weird, but
I'm clueless.
What happens to the 30? What happens if you rank 32? You never play. That's what I kind of I think Viking also said it to me on WhatsApp as well. It's like, what does it? If you rank 32, you never play. You like play like 1 or 2 games, and that's it. So,
but it's 4 groups of 8 people. That doesn't like group A play against B and C against.
That depends on the ranking decision. So what, they play their first match and then they don't get ranked, and then what happens then? So yeah, it's going to be a bit difficult. I can see what they are trying to do, trying to split up so teams have a fair shot at the place of each pie every week, but not have one team take everything. Like, TDR, they want Liquid to at least try win one per week. This is true. I mean, Liquid's also doesn't do very well in terms of the PGIs, and we will, once the PGI does start, we are going to be doing content around PGI and doing all of that sort of stuff as well. But we'll try and get through this PGI stuff and see what we can pop up here for you guys. But yeah, to try and get exactly what these guys are trying to do. I'm glad that everyone else is confused with us. Team Liquid will never win. No, I tend to agree with that at some point. And I'll switch here back towards our faces here. Let's just quickly switch over towards that proper scene. But yeah, a little bit confusing there, hey, Critzee.
Yeah, a lot, man. I don't know why they didn't keep the old PGI style 16 teams.
I mean, they did
the 52 thing is wild.
Yeah, I mean, they did the group stages. I didn't. Yeah, Liquid got kicked out early as well. I mean, if you didn't perform, you didn't perform. So it's a little bit. If they play 8 games a day and 32, and the 32nd team will get 1 spot at qualifying for the next weekend. Yeah. Well, let's see. I mean, I've seen Wacky Jackie come out with it and say it's also very confusing. It may just deter a lot of viewers because they might not understand the format and whatever the case is. So let's hope whoever wins, you're out. And then the new team plays. Yeah, but you want to see 32 teams go at it, all the time. I mean, there's 156 matches that are going to be played over the 8 weeks. That's a lot of matches that's getting played over 8 weeks. I mean, like we saw there, 5 games per day will run over 2 days, and then obviously going through the weeks and whatever the case is. Unless I mention doesn't have a certain play to drop in rotations will be hard. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be difficult, I reckon, for Team Liquid, but we will get some good content coming out there from then. But anyway, okay, we'll move on to that. So at least everyone's aware of how confusing that PGI.S is. Cool. So to end off, guys, as well, we're going to be announcing now we're bringing back our monster plays, and that will be in conjunction with our clip of the week as well. So starting on Wednesday for our pre-battles, we're going to be doing some monster plays. So we'll be taking a couple of the clips out of monster plays, and then we're going to have you guys vote on Twitter for who do you think will win the monster play of the week, and then this will get announced on our Tuesday podcasts. So you guys can after Sunday evening's battles, we will then post that up on Twitter, and you guys can then vote during the Monday and the Tuesday until the podcast starts, and we will then obviously give out prizes to the winners of the clip of the week and for monster plays. So some exciting things coming back. Monster play of the week was Slayer nading Norman. No, it wasn't Slayer nading Norman. It was Pleb nading Norman. Yeah, that was actually quite a funny one. That I must admit, that was quite funny. If it's a hard weapon, then they shouldn't be allowed to play it all. Question for the panel: when players have a current account with a VAC or known old account with a VAC, what action is taken to monitor said player? I mean, it's hard. It's hard to answer that question. It will be on a case-by-case process. I mean, for me especially, it will be a case-by-case process, because some of them you'll see it's 12 months ago or whatever the case is. These things we obviously do look into each of the profiles of the players, hence also why we also on our Discord bot actually takes your PUBG name as well, because these are things that we can do in the background to see if anything's happening or whatever the case is. So we do get all of that. So it is literally on a case-by-case process. If it does get there and we do suspect it will, then obviously we take it forward from there. It says PUBG Africa said that the chicken dinner goes through. What if you finish second and had the most kills, putting you first in points but not getting chicken dinner? What?
What?
PUBG PUBG Africa, they said chicken dinner goes through, but what if you finish second and have the most kills? You see, that's the confusing part, Jin. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the confusing part. What if you just win a chicken dinner with 2 kills, and then like the next team behind you's got 15 kills and they came second? What? That doesn't make sense. I guess it does make sense to a point, right? They did call it the survival series. Does it make sense to you, maybe a little bit? That according it to maybe survival? No.
But I know they said something about like the weekend thing will work with normal point system.
Normal point system, yeah.
I think you honestly just have to win the game
to get into a higher rank, or so you can play against them. I don't know.
Yeah. So I think you're gonna see a lot of people alive in the end. So it's gonna be wild, man. Because everybody just like you're gonna try to avoid dumb fights. Try to avoid gatekeeping people, so
exactly.
It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a different PUBG than we all used to. Like, you're not gonna see early fights, rotation, camping. Everybody's gonna hide in the house.
So. Yeah, it's gonna be a bit different. Then it's gonna like pop off at like phase like 6, 7. You know, that's then you're gonna start seeing people. Okay, now we have to engage. We have to take a fight because space is getting limited and whatever the case is. But we're not gonna see these throwaway games that we see, like, you know, sometimes Team Liquid or FaZe, you know, they're quite good at those throwaway games. They're like, just okay, cool, let's just get this game done and dusted, and then, you know, Sunday comes in and they freaking pop off all the time, you know, because they, I don't know, conserving energy or whatever they want to do, you know, from
hibernation mode.
Exactly. Not saying, you know, and she just happens a clean scene and what happens a few years ago, cough. Yeah, I mean, we've been pretty active with, obviously, going back to that whole back thing as well, Hen Zero. We've been pretty active with actually checking accounts and all that sort of stuff in the background. So it's not like something we're taking lightly, especially when obviously money gets involved. That's definitely what we do all the time. So that's something we definitely concentrate on. So the second team faces off the fourth team, and the winners are the loser wins 20k, and the sixth place wins 500k. I mean, it could potentially happen, but no, they said the overall winner is the team that takes away the most money. Is what they said.
Throughout the weeks.
Yeah, throughout the weeks. So that's it's weird.
So if you win game 1 of the week, you get more money. So
yeah,
the sooner you win,
the sooner the more money you win.
It's crazy, man.
So it's not points anymore. And like I see, from PUBG Org's perspective, it's survival is the most important. It seems to be that they're trying to make it more of a survival game now in this setting, which is strange. Let's see how it works. I mean, let's not, like I said, let's see how it works. And if it does fail, I'm sure the community of PUBG will definitely let them know. That's for sure. The one thing I can trust about PUBG communities, they're not shy to say anything. That's for sure.
Pretty vocal.
Yeah, 100%. Cool. Okay, cool. So before we end, guys, any last questions for Critzee before we let him go for the evening? As before we end off this podcast for the evening, it's actually been really, really cool podcast and nice discussions here as well. Really been enjoying myself. I hope you as well, Chris.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Awesome.
I love it. It's something new for me. So
awesome. Okay. Did read something from the other day. Studio wants to go back to survival core. Yeah, it is. Okay. Cool. I'll give you guys 10 more seconds before you want to ask any more things. Leaderboard. That's for yesterday. There's obviously no things. Anyway, cool. All right, Chris, thank you so much for joining. It's been epic. It's been really, really awesome to have you here. It was some cool discussions there in the podcast. I hope you guys also enjoyed it. But yeah, until Wednesday, be safe out there. And we'll catch you guys on Wednesday for pre-battles. So yeah, have a good one. Cheers.
Keep well. See